we are here with Bridgette St. Hillaire. She was kind enough to share her backyard with us. Bridgette's been working with us for a while, and she's obviously been working with clients for a long time, and the whole inspection process and what clients can expect through that process. So let's start with, how many buyers and sellers do you help every year on average?
I work primarily on referrals from my friends, my family, and my former clients. So I usually am doing around 10 transactions a year, which I know is not necessarily a huge volume based on what's going on in my life. I can take on 2 to 3 clients at a time max, because I want to make sure that my clients are getting very personal attention.
Well, I think the national average is like 4 transactions a year for
okay.
a realtor.
Well, I'm doing
so you're
great then.
you're above average. Well, you still got kids you're taking care of and everything too, right? So
Absolutely.
gotcha. Okay. So let's talk about the inspection, since I'm inspections over coffee. We all know that it's our job to write things down and find things. There's no perfect house. Even a brand new house isn't perfect, and we're going to write things down. So what do you do to prep your client for the inspection?
I tell them there's going to be things wrong with it. You, as the buyer, have to decide what you're comfortable with and what you're not okay with. What are your deal breakers? So I start there, and then if it's a newer buyer and they haven't been through the process before, I will show them a previous report, not the personal details, of course, but
Right.
there are things that show up on pretty much every inspection report. I'm sorry, the dishwasher loop, every inspection report for the past 3 years. And then there are things that are maybe a little more serious, or things that are a little more expensive to fix, that may make a difference in whether or not they move forward with the purchase.
So what about, you had mentioned buyers, what if you have a listing and a seller?
Yeah, so from a seller's
that go?
perspective, I actually have a document that I provide the sellers that tells them what to expect, how to clean up and move things a little bit so the inspector has easy access. And also, I like short inspection reports, like the least amount of things they can find on there, the better, from my perspective. If you have light bulbs that are burned out, change them. It's the difference between a line on an inspection report and, nothing. The light works, great, you don't have to write anything down. Just little things. If there's little things that they know that are broken, fix it. The more of these little things you can do before the inspection, the better your inspection is going to turn out.
Well, and if I could add to that, I would say like accessibility, because I can't tell you, like you guys as realtors want the house to look as nice as possible, and the clients fill up their garage with all their personal belongings, and then we can't get to the water heater, sometimes electrical panels, we can't get into the attic through the garage. So I always say, hey, for the inspection portion of it, it's a hassle for us, it's a hassle for you when they're like, well, they couldn't access the attic and they really wanted to look in the attic, so there's a fee to come back and look again and all that kind of. So accessibility is really important.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
Okay, so then let's talk about the buyer. You're going to do your VINSER report and ask you if you're going to negotiate anything. So you just want to walk us through that a little bit?
How much you add to the VINSER really depends on the current environment in the market, what you're paying for the home. In general, like, are you getting a good deal on it, or are you overpaying for it? So there are a lot of different factors that go into it. I usually tell my clients to put everything on the VINSER that they really care about. There are items that are easy fixes where you can go to one of the hardware stores and, like, those anti-siphon devices, you can go grab one of those. They're like $1. You can stick it on yourself. It's really not that big a deal. But
panel.
Is the roof, is the roof shot?
Right.
Well, who am I to say the seller won't pay for a new roof? Like, let's put it on there. If it's something big and important and it's going to cost you a lot of money, let's put it on there. Let's see what they come back with. In the end, they might not agree to do it, or you might not like their response, in which case you still have the option to cancel. I don't like to submit a large list of items that has a lot of little stuff on it. I'd rather we just go for the big items that the buyer is really concerned about.
So then you're on the list side, and the seller gets the VINSER and they have to respond to it. How does the discussion go with your selling clients?
Some of the items would need to be repaired regardless. Some of the items that are asked for, anybody would ask for those items.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
so
mold.
I point those out.
Yeah.
Exactly. I point those out and I say, listen, if you don't fix this or at least contribute towards fixing this, the next person that comes along and does an inspection is going to have the same exact
Right,
request.
right.
So from the seller perspective, I really just try to let them know, like, pick some of the items, contribute towards some of the bigger items, and you'll make everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
If they're getting a really good deal on it, say no.
Okay, well, if I can ask you about us a little bit.
Absolutely.
You obviously had some inspectors you've worked with over your 9 years before we started working together, maybe a little less than a year ago. What was it that made you give us a shot?
So I gave you guys a shot this summer because I needed an inspector who could also inspect owned solar on a home. And if you remember, I posted something on our HomeSmart Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
About that, and you responded, and I thought, oh, this sounds good, and I went and I looked at your website and I saw all the different services you offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, let's do it, let's try it. And I kept referring you to my clients, really, because you do offer such a wide array of services that I don't have to coordinate myself, which
Mm-hmm.
I've always had to do in the past.
Also, things like sewer scopes and
Yeah,
termites and
the
all
sewer
that.
scope. A lot of companies will take care of the termites now, but the mold, the solar, all of that, it's really nice that you take care of that and you coordinate all that, because in the past what I had to do is order the home inspection and then find out who I could get to come and take a look at the solar, and then find out who I could get to come and take a look at the sewer,
Mm-hmm.
find out who I could get to do a mold inspection, which usually takes a very long time if you look up people online. So I like your process. Your reports they're web-based, they're very interactive, and they include videos and photos, which I find really helpful. It makes it quick and easy to go through the areas of the report that you specifically want to target with your clients or that your clients are interested in. And also, I like the feature that I didn't know how to use until recently, where I can go through a menu and just pick the items that the client is concerned about, and it generates
Oh, like a little baby report?
a completely
Yeah.
separate summary
Mhm.
of only the buyer's
few items.
concerns.
Yeah.
And then I can send that over
To the listing side.
to the listing side, instead of this whole big 80-page report of mostly information they're never going to look at.
Right. You've had people test for mold. What was your experience having us do mold versus what you've had mold in the past? I remember we had like a phone conversation afterward about like kind of how to get that fixed.
The problem with the traditional mold inspectors is that they want to do the big, huge, week-long mold like testing where
Oh, that's
it
idiotic.
takes
Yeah.
it's too long. It doesn't work during the inspection period, and I don't like to go back to the sellers and say, we want to increase the inspection period. Some of them will probably say no, especially in this type of market where people aren't even, some people are foregoing inspections, which I would never recommend, by the way. I like that your process is shorter, that you can detect it, and from your knowledge and your experience and from your inspection, you can kind of guide people as to where that mold might be. Other people who want to come in and search for mold want to actually dig into drywall
Mm-hmm.
or remove cabinets. I'm like, you can't do that.
It's somebody else's house.
Right, in somebody else's house,
Yeah.
exactly. So I like your process for that.
Well, I'll say my pet peeve with the mold industry is, or home inspectors that do mold testing, is they basically take the same samples that we take, and then they just give you the lab results, and they go, good luck, right? and then you're stuck kind of going, well, I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Right,
Whereas,
how big of a problem is this?
yeah,
What types
how do
of
I
molds
fix the
are
problem,
these?
really, right?
Uh-huh.
And so with us, I'm a licensed mold assessor, and I've done this in multiple states. Like, you get a whole write-up by the book, how to fix the problem, both what you could see on the surface and what is also floating around in the air. And it's totally, you could just go right to a remediation company and go, hey, this is the list of things that needs to get done. And then you know that we just got paid one flat fee to tell you how to fix the problem, and nobody with a financial bias is coming and going, well, it's a way bigger problem, or an insurance company
Right.
going, that's the super small problem.
Exactly.
So then the last thing I'll ask you is, if someone's watching this video on your social media or whatever, who best finds your help useful, and who do you like working with? Who's an ideal client for you?
I just like working for clients that are serious about buying a home, that know what they want, that know approximately what area they're looking in, and someone that is just really passionate about finding their home, because that's what I love, is I love actually finding the right home for my client.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you, and thanks for the use of your backyard.
Of course.
All right. Well, we look forward to working with everybody in the future, and have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.